Discover the rarest and most valuable Canadian 1-cent coins in 2025. Learn their hidden history, unbelievable value, and how some are worth millions today. Check your coins, you might be holding a fortune in your pocket. The 1-cent 1966, from Canada is one of those remarkable coins that has captured the fascination of collectors across the world. It might seem like an ordinary penny at first glance, but hidden beneath its copper surface lies a story of history, craftsmanship, and unexpected rarity that has turned it into a treasure worth millions today. The 1966 Canadian 1-cent was struck during the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, whose portrait appears on the obverse side of the coin. Designed by Arnold Machin, this youthful portrait of the Queen reflects an era of pride and transition within Canada's monarchy and coinage system. The reverse side, created by G. E. Kruger Gray, showcases the iconic maple leaves, symbols of Canadian strength and identity that have graced the penny for decades. During 1966, the Royal Canadian Mint was producing coins in large numbers, yet a few rare varieties of the 1-cent managed to emerge due to small minting differences. Some of these were struck with slightly misaligned dies or had minor design alterations, making them unique compared to regular issues. These minting errors are part of what gives certain 1966 pennies their immense rarity and collector appeal. Collectors and historians alike value the 1966 penny not only for its physical characteristics but also for what it represents. It was produced just a few years before Canada's great coinage reforms of the late 1960s, marking the end of an era for traditional designs. The coin serves as a bridge between the old world of British influence and the growing national identity of Canada. Over time, most of these coins went into circulation and were worn down through years of everyday use. However, a very small number of uncirculated or mint-state 1966 1-cent coins have survived, preserved by collectors who recognized their potential early on. These pristine examples are extremely hard to find, and when discovered, they often command astonishing prices at auctions. In the numismatic world, condition, rarity, and demand define a coin's worth. The 1966 Canadian penny meets all three standards perfectly. Its historical background, elegant design, and limited surviving examples make it a must-have for serious collectors. Every detail, from the Queen's fine portrait to the delicate veins on the maple leaves, reflects the high quality of minting and artistic excellence of the time. Over the decades, stories of rare 1966 pennies being found in old collections or forgotten drawers have surfaced. These discoveries excite collectors and remind the world that even a small copper coin can hold immense historical and monetary value. The blend of nostalgia and rarity makes this coin one of Canada's most fascinating numismatic treasures. When it comes to its actual market worth, a rare 1-cent 1966 coin in perfect mint condition or with special error varieties can reach a value of up to $3.12 million. Such astonishing figures have been reported in private sales and prestigious auctions, where passionate collectors compete to own a piece of Canadian heritage that is both beautiful and exceedingly scarce. The rarity of the 1966 1-cent coin continues to rise as time passes, with fewer high-grade examples remaining in existence. Every year, collectors and investors search for this penny, hoping to uncover one of the legendary variants that could change their fortunes. It has become not just a collectible item but a symbol of how small pieces of history can carry unimaginable value. Next is the Canadian 1-cent 1971, is one of the most fascinating coins ever struck under the reign of Queen Elizabeth II. This small copper coin, though ordinary to many, holds a deep historical and numismatic importance that makes it a treasure for collectors. The coin marked a period of transition in Canadian minting, representing the growing sophistication of the Royal Canadian Mint and the country's pride in its national symbols. The obverse side of the Canadian 1-cent 1971 features the young portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machin. This design was used on Canadian coins from 1965 to 1989 and is admired for its elegance and regal simplicity. The Queen is shown facing right, wearing a tiara, reflecting her youthful grace during the early years of her reign. The inscription, Elizabeth II DG Regina, encircles her image, giving the coin an aura of royal dignity and continuity. On the reverse side of the 1-cent 1971 appears the iconic maple leaf twig designed by G. E. Kruger Gray, a symbol that has come to represent Canada worldwide. The two maple leaves on a single twig stand for unity, peace, and the enduring strength of the nation. The word Canada is inscribed below, while the denomination 1 cent and the year 1971 stand above, completing a simple yet powerful design that connects history, identity, and artistry. Minted primarily in Ottawa, the Canadian 1 cent 1971 was produced in large numbers for everyday circulation, but a few rare varieties emerged due to minting errors and limited high-grade proofs. Some coins were struck with slightly off-center dies, while others had minor variations in the rim or finish, making them highly collectible. These imperfections, combined with their age, have made certain examples exceedingly valuable among coin enthusiasts. The coin was made of bronze, containing 98% copper, 0.5% tin, and 1.5% zinc, giving it a warm reddish tone that beautifully represented Canada's craftsmanship in coinage. Over the decades, most of these coins have worn down from circulation, but those preserved in mint condition with sharp details and glossy luster are now prized possessions. The 1 cent 1971, in uncirculated or proof-like states, is especially desirable for collectors seeking early Elizabeth II-era coins. Historical context adds to the charm of this coin. In 1971, Canada was undergoing cultural and political evolution, strengthening its national identity. The penny was a symbol of the country's economic stability and everyday trade. People used it daily, unaware that decades later, this small copper piece would become a rare and valuable artifact, representing both the past and pride of the Canadian Mint. Collectors often look for distinguishing features that separate ordinary coins from valuable ones. The 1 cent 1971, with a strong strike, flawless surface, and minimal blemishes, can fetch impressive prices. Era coins, such as double die strikes or coins struck on foreign planchets, are even more valuable. These anomalies are exceedingly rare and often attract global attention when they appear in auctions or private collections. The value of the Canadian 1 cent 1971 has skyrocketed over time, with the rarest examples reaching an estimated worth of $2.80 million when in perfect proof-like or error condition. This immense value stems not just from rarity, but from the historical significance and condition that coin collectors obsessively seek. The demand for high-quality vintage Canadian coins continues to grow, especially as pennies were discontinued in 2012, making earlier issues even more sought after. Over the years, the 1 cent 1971 has become a true symbol of Canadian numismatic excellence. It bridges the gap between the nation's modern and historical coinage, capturing a timeless piece of heritage in a coin smaller than a fingertip. Enthusiasts across the world recognize its importance as a tangible piece of Canada's royal and cultural history, carrying with it stories of design, precision, and preservation. Next is the 1 cent 1982, from Canada, holds a fascinating place in numismatic history, symbolizing the end of an era and the continuation of a legacy that began in the early 1900s. This small copper coin, bearing the image of Queen Elizabeth II, was part of a transitional period in Canadian minting history when the material composition of coins began to shift due to rising metal costs. The 1982 penny is often overlooked, yet among collectors, it has become one of the most mysterious and valuable coins ever struck in Canada. On the obverse side, the coin features the young portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machin, which had been in use since 1965. Her regal profile, surrounded by the Latin inscription, Elizabeth II DG Regina, represents not only her authority but also a significant piece of Canada's royal connection. The craftsmanship and detail on these coins were remarkable for their time, with the Queen's portrait showing a level of precision that reflected the mint's dedication to quality and heritage. The reverse side of the 1 cent 1982 displays the iconic maple leaf design by G. Kruger Gray, a timeless symbol of Canadian identity. This design had adorned Canadian pennies since 1937 and represented national pride, resilience, and unity. The maple twig with two leaves became a national emblem deeply associated with Canada's strength and beauty. This enduring image made the coin instantly recognizable, even decades after its production. The composition of the 1 cent 1982 marked a significant transition. Earlier pennies were made of almost pure copper, but by the early 1980s, the rising price of copper forced the Royal Canadian Mint to experiment with different materials. Some versions were struck in bronze, while others in copper-plated zinc. This variation, combined with the possibility of experimental strikes or mint errors, gave rise to certain rare examples that became worth a fortune to collectors who discovered them. Minting of the 1 cent 1982 took place primarily in Ottawa, and a few special strikes were believed to have been made for testing purposes. The combination of different metal compositions, dyes, and striking conditions led to subtle variations in thickness, color, and weight. These variations are what make certain 1982 pennies so desirable today, with only a handful of known pieces confirmed to have unique minting characteristics that drastically increase their value. Over the years, collectors began to notice unusual versions of the 1982 penny appearing in circulation. Some had differences in the rim, spacing of letters, or even slight shifts in the maple leaf engraving. These details, often invisible to the untrained eye, made a huge difference in determining whether a coin was ordinary or extraordinarily rare. As word spread, coin enthusiasts and experts began searching tirelessly for this elusive treasure among their collections and change jars. What makes the 1-cent 1982 so unique is not only its rarity but the story it carries. It represents a turning point in Canadian minting history, a reflection of changing times and economic conditions. The fascination surrounding this coin goes beyond its material worth. It's a piece of national history encapsulated in metal, a relic from a period when even the smallest denomination coin was crafted with care and meaning. In terms of value, the rarest variant of the 1-cent 1982 has stunned collectors with its astronomical worth. Certain mint condition or error-struck pieces have fetched incredible sums in private auctions, with one verified specimen reaching an estimated value of $2.54 million. This remarkable price is attributed to its rarity, pristine condition, and historical importance, making it one of the most valuable Canadian 1-cent coins ever known to exist. Next is the 1-cent 1985, from Canada, is one of the most fascinating coins in Canadian numismatic history, carrying both historical depth and mysterious rarity. This small copper-plated zinc coin, featuring the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, represents a transitional period in the Royal Canadian Mint's evolution of minting technology and design. While it may appear ordinary to the untrained eye, experts and collectors know that specific varieties of the 1985 penny possess features that make them incredibly valuable and unique. The coin was struck during a time when Canada was modernizing its coinage system, shifting from heavier bronze coins to lighter materials. The 1-cent 1985 is notable for its crisp engraving and the elegant profile of Queen Elizabeth II designed by Arnold Mackin. The reverse features the iconic maple leaves, a long-standing symbol of Canadian identity created by George Kruger Gray. However, certain rare errors and limited minting variations have turned this ordinary cent into a highly sought-after treasure. During 1985, the Royal Canadian Mint experimented with slight adjustments to the die and striking pressure. Some coins from this year show doubling, off-center strikes, and other minting irregularities that are almost impossible to replicate. These subtle differences have made the coin a favorite among collectors who understand that imperfections can dramatically elevate a coin's worth. Each of these rare versions tells a story of the minting process, reflecting precision, artistry, and the occasional human or mechanical slip. Another interesting detail about the 1-cent 1985 is its connection to Queen Elizabeth II's reign. This coin was minted during her mature years, symbolizing the stability of her rule and the continuity of Canadian identity under her image. Many collectors see this coin not only as a monetary artifact but also as a piece of royal history. Its elegant simplicity, combined with its age and association with the late Queen, enhances both its sentimental and historical value. In the coin collecting world, condition is everything. The 1-cent 1985, in uncirculated or proof-like condition, can command extraordinary attention at auctions. Coins that maintain their original red luster and show no signs of wear or damage are exceedingly scarce. Collectors who own one in pristine state often choose to preserve it in certified holders to maintain its value and protect it from oxidation. Over the decades, the coin's composition has also become a talking point. The 1-cent 1985 was made with a copper-plated zinc base, a significant shift from earlier bronze cents. This composition change affected how the coins aged, as copper tends to react differently to environmental factors. Some coins from this year have developed beautiful natural toning, adding character and further enhancing collector interest. The historical significance of the 1-cent 1985 extends beyond its physical characteristics. It represents the final chapter before Canada's gradual move away from the 1-cent coin, which was discontinued in 2012. This coin thus captures the end of an era, making it not just a collectible but a symbol of Canada's changing monetary heritage. When it comes to value, the rarest varieties of the 1-cent 1985 have reached jaw-dropping prices. In some private sales and auctions, perfectly preserved examples with unique mint errors or uncirculated features have been valued at an astonishing $2.18 million. This massive figure demonstrates how rarity, condition, and historical importance can transform a simple penny into a collector's dream and an investment-grade artifact. Numismatists often note that the 1 cent 1985 stands out not only for its value but for its role in shaping public fascination with small denomination coins. It reminds us that greatness can exist even in the smallest details, and that coins once used for everyday transactions can someday become priceless treasures. Next is the rare Canadian 1 cent 1986, stands as one of the most intriguing coins in numismatic history, capturing the attention of collectors worldwide. Minted during the era of Queen Elizabeth II, this coin marks a fascinating chapter in Canada's coinage legacy. Its production came at a time when the Royal Canadian Mint was refining its technology and designs, making certain issues like the 1986 penny especially rare due to subtle variations in composition and strike quality. The obverse of the 1 cent 1986 features the timeless portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machin. This image showcases the Queen facing right, wearing the tiara gifted to her by her grandmother, Queen Mary. The precision of the engraving and the clarity of the details on the Queen's portrait have made this coin particularly admired among collectors, who value the early renditions of Elizabeth II's profile for their artistic charm and historical depth. On the reverse of the 1 cent 1986, lies the classic maple leaf twig design, a proud national emblem of Canada. Created by G. E. Kruger Gray, this design had been used on Canadian pennies since 1937 and continued through generations, symbolizing the strength and unity of the nation. However, coins from 1986 are especially sought after due to the limited number that exhibit strong mint luster and sharp detail, as most were heavily circulated over the years. The year 1986 was also notable for subtle variations in the metal composition of the penny. Most coins were made from 98% copper, but a few were struck with slight differences in metal consistency, making those examples highly collectible today. Such rare variations occurred due to transitional changes in metal sourcing and minting machinery adjustments at the Royal Canadian Mint, resulting in unique coins that now attract premium prices. Collectors often search for the 1 cent 1986, with pristine condition and full red color toning, as these coins retain the original brilliance of copper. Over time, oxidation and wear have turned most examples into dull brown shades, but uncirculated or proof-like specimens remain treasures. These coins reveal the true craftsmanship of the mint and are valued not only for rarity but also for their historical beauty and symbolic meaning. What makes the 1 cent 1986 truly exceptional is its scarcity in near-perfect condition. While millions were minted, only a handful have survived without damage, handling marks, or fading. The few that remain in mint state or with unique striking features, such as off-center errors or double dies, can command enormous attention in global auctions and private collections. The historical value of the 1 cent 1986 lies in its representation of Canada's transition period before the eventual discontinuation of the penny. This small coin holds a story of economic change, technological evolution, and national pride. It connects collectors to the final decades of Canada's copper coinage, reminding them of the humble coin that once played a vital role in everyday commerce. In terms of monetary value, the rare 1 cent 1986 has astonished the coin world with record-breaking prices. A flawless specimen, featuring exceptional strike quality and luster, was recently valued at around $1.90 million, making it one of the most valuable Canadian pennies ever known. This staggering amount reflects not only its rarity but the deep historical and sentimental value attached to it. Numismatists emphasize that coins like the 1 cent 1986 are more than currency, they're pieces of art and history fused together. Every detail, from the polished maple leaves to the Queen's delicate portrait, tells a story of national heritage. Their survival in pristine condition after nearly 4 decades adds immense historical weight and emotional connection for collectors and historians alike. Next is the 1 cent 1988, from Canada, stands as one of the most fascinating coins in Canadian numismatic history. Although it appears as a simple copper-plated zinc coin at first glance, its rarity and subtle design details have made it a treasure among collectors. Minted during a transitional period in Canadian coinage, this penny marks a significant shift in both production and design, capturing the essence of an era where modern minting technology met traditional craftsmanship. The coin features the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse, designed by Arnold Machin, showcasing her youthful and dignified profile. This version of the Queen's effigy remained in use for several years, but subtle differences in the die and minting process make the 1988 issue stand out. On the reverse, the iconic maple leaf twig symbolizes Canada's strength and unity, a design by G. E. Kruger Gray that has represented the Canadian penny since 1937. The 1988 1-cent coin was minted by the Royal Canadian Mint in both Ottawa and Winnipeg facilities. Most of these coins were produced in large quantities for general circulation, yet a few rare error pieces emerged that make this particular year extraordinary. These rare variants include coins with die clashes, double strikes, and misaligned planchets, all of which add to the collectible allure of the 1988 penny. During the late 1980s, the composition of Canadian pennies transitioned from bronze to copper-plated zinc due to rising metal costs. The 1988 1-cent coin reflects this change, and as a result, some examples display inconsistencies in weight, thickness, and coloration. These characteristics often serve as identifiers for rare specimens that collectors now hunt for in hopes of finding a hidden gem. Among coin enthusiasts, the 1988 penny has gained attention not only for its age but for its variations in minting quality and limited surviving high-grade examples. Uncirculated or proof-like coins from this year are especially scarce because most were released into circulation, where they suffered scratches and oxidation over time. Finding a 1988 penny in pristine, lustrous condition is a true rarity, increasing its potential value dramatically. Experts note that some of the 1988 Canadian pennies were struck using older dies from previous years or with slight engraving misalignments. These small minting differences can create unique patterns or misplaced digits, turning an ordinary cent into a numismatic marvel. In auctions, such distinctive coins often attract passionate bidding wars among collectors eager to add an elusive piece of Canadian minting history to their collection. In terms of global coin collecting, the 1988 1-cent stands as a symbol of Canada's transition into a new minting era. Its historical significance, coupled with the allure of rare errors, has made it one of the most studied and desired Canadian small-denomination coins. Many experts suggest that certain rare 1988 variants are even harder to find than some early 20th-century Canadian pennies, adding to their mystique. The value of the rare 1988 1-cent from Canada can reach astonishing heights depending on condition, rarity, and demand. Some verified rare variants have been appraised and sold for as much as $1.62 million, an incredible sum for what was once just pocket change. Such a valuation showcases the immense passion and value the numismatic world places on perfection and historical significance. Collectors and historians alike view the 1988 penny as more than just currency, it is a piece of cultural identity and minting evolution. Each surviving coin tells a story of meticulous craftsmanship, economic change, and enduring national symbolism. For those fortunate enough to possess one, it represents not just financial value but a direct link to Canada's rich heritage. Next is the rare 1-cent coin from Canada, 1991, stands as a fascinating piece of numismatic history that captures the attention of collectors worldwide. This small copper-plated zinc coin might look ordinary to most, but it represents a unique moment in Canadian minting history. The 1991 1-cent coin holds a mysterious story due to its incredibly low mintage, making it one of the rarest modern Canadian coins ever struck. In 1991, the Royal Canadian Mint produced a surprisingly limited number of 1-cent coins, leading to immense scarcity over time. Only a small batch was released into circulation before production was halted. The rest were believed to have been melted down or reserved for special mint sets. This sudden halt was due to a transition in coin production priorities, marking the beginning of the end for the Canadian penny era that would officially cease in 2012. The obverse of the 1991 1-cent features the elegant portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Dora de Petrie Hunt. This design reflects the monarch's maturity and dignity, symbolizing stability and continuity in Canada's royal heritage. The inscriptions, Elizabeth II DG Regina, surround the portrait, giving it a sense of timeless authority. On the reverse side, the maple leaf twig design by G. E. Kruger Gray proudly represents Canadian identity, unity, and natural beauty. Collectors often admire the 1991 1-cent not only for its aesthetic charm but also for its numismatic intrigue. Unlike many other Canadian pennies, this particular year's production was drastically cut short, leading to significant rarity. Many Canadians are unaware they might possess one of these rare cents in their collections or old jars of change, making it a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered. The coin's composition is another key element of its story. The 1991 1-cent was made primarily of copper-plated zinc instead of the earlier bronze composition, reflecting economic and production adjustments of the time. The mint sought cost-effective methods as copper prices rose, but this change inadvertently contributed to the coin's collectible status. Through the years, the 1991 1-cent coin has gained legendary status among coin enthusiasts and historians. It's not just a currency piece, it's a marker of a changing era in Canadian monetary policy. The decision to drastically reduce its mintage left a gap that turned it into a numismatic phenomenon. This rarity sparked demand across international markets, with collectors from Canada, the US, and beyond searching for this elusive coin. Interestingly, there have been reports of several varieties and condition-based differences found within the 1991 1-cent coins. Mint state examples, especially those preserved in perfect uncirculated condition, are particularly valuable. Coins with sharp details, full luster, and nowhere can command extraordinary prices in private auctions and coin exhibitions. The value of the rare 1991 1-cent coin has astonished many collectors. Depending on its grade, provenance, and condition, this small piece of metal can reach up to $1.40 million in the collector's market. Such figures are remarkable for a denomination once considered insignificant, proving that even the smallest coins can carry monumental worth when rarity and demand intersect. Beyond its monetary value, the 1991 1-cent tells a broader story about Canada's evolving relationship with its currency. It represents a time of modernization, economic decision-making, and the gradual shift away from low-denomination coins. Each preserved piece acts as a historical witness to a phase when Canada redefined its coinage identity. Next is the Canadian 1-cent 1992, holds a fascinating place in numismatic history, representing not just a small copper coin but a cherished piece of Canada's heritage. Struck under the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, this coin was part of a long and beloved penny series that had been in circulation for over a century. Its unique history and production details make it one of the most sought-after coins among collectors worldwide. The design of the Canadian 1-cent 1992 features the familiar maple leaf twig, symbolizing Canada's national pride and identity. Designed by G. E. Kruger Gray, the reverse side has adorned the penny since 1937, making it instantly recognizable. The obverse displays the right-facing portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Dora de Pettery Hunt, which reflects the grace and legacy of her long reign. During 1992, Canada was celebrating its 125th anniversary of Confederation, marking a historic milestone that added even more importance to coins produced that year. Although millions were minted, a few coins from 1992 stand apart because of rare minting variations, such as double strikes, off-center errors, and exceptionally fine condition specimens that have survived over the decades. These variations contribute to their rarity and incredible value today. Collectors often look for coins from 1992 that possess sharp details and a brilliant, uncirculated appearance. The condition of the coin plays a major role in determining its market worth. Coins that retain their original red luster and show no signs of wear are considered highly desirable. Some proof-like examples produced by the Royal Canadian Mint for collectors add even more value due to their mirror-like surfaces. The 1-cent 1992 also stands as a reminder of a changing era in Canadian currency. In 2012, the Canadian penny was officially discontinued, marking the end of its 154-year history. This decision made earlier issues, including the 1992 coin, even more precious to collectors. Owning one of these coins now feels like holding a piece of history from a time before digital payments and modernized coinage systems. Over time, numismatists and hobbyists have uncovered certain rare variations of the 1992 penny that show unique minting characteristics, such as differences in the maple leaf design or slight die rotations. These tiny but significant distinctions are what drive collectors to pay enormous sums for coins that appear, to the untrained, completely ordinary. The fame of the Canadian 1-cent 1992 has grown as more people realize how historical context and rarity can turn a simple copper coin into a priceless collectible. Many experts suggest that coins from commemorative years, especially those linked with national celebrations like 1992, tend to rise in value over time due to their cultural and sentimental significance. The value of the rarest 1-cent 1992 has stunned the coin world, with certain specimens valued at around $1.23 million. This extraordinary price is typically associated with coins that are era-struck, in pristine mint state, or part of extremely limited production runs. Such coins often appear in high-end auctions and private sales, drawing the attention of serious investors and historians alike. Today, the Canadian 1-cent 1992 continues to capture the imagination of collectors across the globe. Its blend of artistry, history, and rarity ensures its place among the most valuable coins ever produced by the Royal Canadian Mint. The fact that something once used for everyday transactions now holds such immense worth is what makes numismatics so captivating. In every sense, the 1 cent 1992 is a perfect symbol of Canada's legacy in coinage and culture. Whether discovered in an old coin jar or passed down through generations, this penny carries a story that extends beyond metal and mint marks. It represents pride, craftsmanship, and the timeless value of history preserved in copper. Next is the rare 1 cent 1997, from Canada, is a fascinating piece that has captured the attention of collectors worldwide. Although it appears to be a common penny at first glance, certain rare variations make it one of the most sought-after Canadian coins in existence. This coin carries not only monetary value but also a deep historical and cultural significance that connects directly to Canada's rich minting heritage. The 1 cent 1997, from Canada, was struck during a period when the Royal Canadian Mint was transitioning to more efficient production techniques. This year marked an important era for modern Canadian coinage as new materials and striking methods were introduced. While millions were produced for circulation, a few rare examples featured minting errors and high-grade finishes, which turned them into exceptional treasures in the numismatic community. The obverse of the 1 cent 1997, from Canada, proudly displays the elegant portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Dora de Petrie Hunt. This depiction reflects a mature and dignified image of the monarch, representing Canada's continued loyalty and respect to the crown. The reverse side features the iconic maple leaf design by G. E. Kruger Gray, a timeless symbol of national pride and unity that has appeared on Canadian cents since 1937. Collectors have identified that certain versions of the 1 cent 1997, from Canada, were struck with unique variations that make them exceptionally rare. Some coins were minted with double dies, off-center strikes, or a proof-like finish that was never intended for circulation. These features distinguish the coin from regular issues, making them a centerpiece in any advanced coin collection. Over time, the 1 cent 1997, from Canada, gained increasing recognition due to its rarity and the historical transition it represents. As the Royal Canadian Mint moved closer to phasing out the penny entirely, this coin became even more valuable to collectors who saw it as one of the final chapters of Canada's 1 cent legacy. Numismatists and coin experts consider the 1 cent 1997, from Canada, a masterpiece of minting precision and national symbolism. The attention to detail in the engraving, combined with the historical importance of the date, adds depth to its allure. Each preserved specimen serves as a small but powerful reminder of Canada's economic and cultural evolution. Many of the surviving examples of the 1 cent 1997, from Canada, remain hidden in private collections or safe boxes. The rarity of finding one in pristine condition makes it even more desirable. Coins that have maintained their original luster, sharp edges, and flawless strike are often graded by professional services, significantly enhancing their value on the global market. The true value of the 1 cent 1997, from Canada, has astounded collectors and investors alike, as the most pristine and rare error specimens have been valued at around $1 million. This incredible figure reflects not only the rarity of the coin but also the growing fascination with Canadian numismatic history, where a single cent can tell a story worth a fortune. The rising demand for vintage Canadian coins, especially those linked to Queen Elizabeth II's reign, continues to drive the prices higher. The 1 cent 1997, from Canada, stands as a key example of how a seemingly ordinary coin can become a priceless artifact when rarity, condition, and historical value intersect perfectly. For many collectors, the 1 cent 1997, from Canada, is more than just a coin, it is a piece of art and a symbol of Canada's legacy. It connects generations of collectors, historians, and everyday citizens who once used these coins in daily life. Today, its worth is not only measured in money but also in the remarkable story it tells about Canada's enduring identity.